Up until now, the idea of pilotless airships whizzing around in the skies above the capital would have sounded like something from the movie Blade Runner. But drones have made a big splash in the headlines in recent weeks, and now everyone seems to want one. They're not just for fun either. Big business is keen to get in on the action, and drone deliveries could be just around the corner. But there are some safety issues to iron out first, as Mark Ashdown discovered.
Up until a few months ago, if we mentioned drones, it was to do with military surveillance and warfare, but they've now arrived into the everyday lives of Londoners. This toy one is cheap and can be bought in high street stores, and this young lad clearly finds driving and flying it very easy. It is a toy though, and can't go far.
But more complex and expensive versions are available with mini cameras on board. They're being used by professionals and amateurs for filming. They can travel huge distances and get incredible images, like this.
And if a group of builders in South London have their way, there are even bigger plans afoot here. You know what it's like waiting in all day for that delivery. Don't worry, your super speedy drone could be on its way.
We're about a £20 million business. We've about 200 vehicles, about 250 engineers going around London doing anything, fixing a small leak up to a full property refurbishment. And the traffic situation in London is a big challenge for us, trying to get vehicles quickly to solve emergency problems and then also to go off and pick up materials.
If I am in West London but I need to get an engineer into a property in East London, I need to get keys to that engineer quite quickly, and that's very difficult to do. So we thought about what the options were, and I like the idea of being able to fly them there one day, and why not take that one step further and see what we can manage in terms of delivering all sorts of things by drone. It's obviously going to be the future at some point, and someone needs to be the catalyst to start it off.
Drones delivering spare parts. Great idea, but surely just pie in the sky in a crowded city. These builders are not alone though in working with professional drone pilots. Companies like Amazon and many others are looking to use machines like this one. It was designed and built by Andrew Crinson.
So how close do you think we are to seeing these flying around?
What aspect are actually trying to achieve or initiate, and I know that Boris Johnson's onto this as well, is that the technology is there, but we've got some limitations. Obviously we've got buildings, trees, we've got antennae, and there's all sorts of objects that are in the way. So I think some of the things that we've got to do is that we need some sort of technology change in the avoidance system, because at the moment there is no avoidance. We need ultrasonics and stuff like that to actually sort of avoid a collision avoidance, if you like.
In order for the drone to be flown safely around London, it needs to not fall out of the sky and hurt somebody. So in the future, these drones would be developed with parachutes, with airbags, with warning lights, with rotor guards, everything that you would expect to prevent any injury of any sorts. The software needs to be hack-proof, so it's not an open source software.
They've got to set up corridors, a bit like the aircraft, civil aviation, with passenger airlines and military aircraft. We've got to have corridors set up. And I think one of their delivery routes, the actual technology to actually fly distances is available.
So maybe this is more than just a futuristic dream, but they will have to be restricted to responsible owners. Who could forget this piece of chilling news from last year?
In July, a drone came close to hitting a plane landing at Heathrow. Today, the official report expressed considerable concern at the incident.
We all know what happens with bird strikes to aircraft, and this is obviously clearly more solid. Other bits going down the engine through the pilot's windscreen, for example, could have been fatal.
Incidents like that one meant specific laws had to be put in place restricting the flying of drones. The Civil Aviation Authority make and police these laws. So what do they make of parcel delivering drones?
Effectively, we've told them to go away and consider the fact, how do you assure that the aircraft stays in the air and only comes down when you want it to? And B, how do you avoid colliding with things that you didn't intend to collide with? Mainly other aircraft, of course, but when you get lower, then there's people and other buildings and things like that as well. Specifically with some of the new ideas, like delivering packages over longer distances and things like that, clearly they've got to consider, when you're operating beyond the visual sight of your aircraft, how do you avoid collisions? And there's a bigger concern as much as anything. So that's quite a big step up in requirements of technology.
So if small deliveries are to arrive quickly and safely by drone, there are going to have to be some huge technological developments. And this is where a lot of them will take place. The Imperial College are one of the world leaders in aerial robotics research and are already helping to develop drones in uncharted territories.
We build drones here at Imperial. We set up a research program that develops the next generation of drones, focusing on applications such as aerial construction, repair, servicing, and also moving in very difficult environments where current drones cannot move. We test drones in the rainforest, in the Honduras rainforest at the moment, and there it can be very beneficial to have many of them sensing the environment, and this data can be used for ecology research.
So what chance does the scientist give our forward-thinking builders of succeeding in our built-up capital?
I think this is the next step which will happen, that we'll have cities and we'll have drone airports, drone recharging stations, drone delivery stations, and drones will be living with us in harmony to serve us as society, to sense the environment, to deliver goods, to repair structures, to service, inspect areas. But I think to do that in a city like London is not the first step that will happen. I think it will first happen in more remote areas where the infrastructure is not there yet. So I wouldn't be afraid of the technology, but I think there's a huge potential for positive uses. And I think we can project our virtues and see a positive outcome and invest in these positive applications and use of this technology.
So with the right policing and sensible, knowledgeable flying, these drones really could be used to our advantage in everyday life in future. One thing's for certain, they can really help add a bit of spice to the way we shoot the end of a film.
Personally, I can't wait for the dawn of the drones. They could drop off my dry cleaning, deliver me a pizza, maybe even walk the dog. Bring it on!